Speaking of the trail camera thing, you got any updates on that at all? Or I know,
No,
I
I
know
got, I got
you.
another spot. I'm gonna get my camera out there. I haven't had a chance yet, and then I got some more cameras coming in. Like I don't know, I think around 6 or 7 of them. And Exodus is going to come over. His name's on the tip of my
Sometime.
tongue.
Oh, Cameron. Cameron.
Cameron's going to come over. I'm thinking if we can arrange times, he's going to come over and set them up with me. Um, so I have his expertise on setting them up correctly. Because obviously they've learned some lessons about trail cameras, and I'm not so big headed to think I know everything.
Yeah.
So I do have some really good spots I want to set those cameras up in. Um, some of them, if the target buck gets on there, I'm not going to show them till after season probably,
Yeah.
um, because the target buck, like in one case I'm thinking of, is so big and identifiable that people will recognize and they'll know I'm onto it and then I'll have issues. Um, but we will have results at some point,
Right.
especially if I kill it.
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, even with the results, I mean, you don't have to know how big the deer is necessarily to have good information. You
Right,
know what I mean? You
right.
know,
We can
not
talk
just
about the results. We can talk, um, and if it's on just good big deer, we'll show them. I mean, that really sucked about the first spot I had a camera out on. I actually put 2 cameras out. I actually got a camera out now too, but it's not the cell cam part ain't working on it. That's what happens when you don't use Exodus. Um, so I got to check a card on that, and hopefully I still have it, based on things. But I got one camera out for 10 days, and we really, it was a huge bedding area. We circled the bedding area, and the bedding area is probably, let's say, 2 acres, maybe even a little bigger. Where the majority of big bucks bed in that particular public land, and there's doe bedding mixed in there and stuff, and it's just a big area, bigger than normal. Usually it's like a 1/4 acre, the bedding areas. This one's particularly big, and it has a lot of exits. And I put the camera on a main exit, crossing a creek onto private land, and I didn't get any. I got one picture of a doe and fawns coming in, and they're staring locked at the camera. Like a few days after I put the camera up, like a week, I think. And then after I hit about 10 days, I finally got a picture of a pretty decent buck walk out of the bedding area towards the private fields. And the very next picture is the next day is a guy walking past. And then the next picture after that is him coming back off of the private land where he ain't supposed to be, staring at the camera,
right.
And I don't know if he went on the private land or not, but I mean, that's the direction he went. But he came back and he's staring at the camera, and then the camera got shut off. So I was in bed with COVID, so I didn't check it immediately when the picture sent.
Yeah.
And I checked it the next morning, and then I saw that guy on, and I checked the camera and saw it was disabled. So I ran out there and checked, and I checked the tracks and stuff. There's one set of tracks out there where the guy was standing, walking around. I mean, it's a real muddy area. And then I checked another camera I had out there, and that one, the card was missing. Card was missing on the cell cam. And then the guy had walked out and away. I tracked him down, and he walked in front of another camera that wasn't mine. I took the card out of that, and I checked it, and he was walking past that, or actually running past it. The time frame from when he left the camera, that cell cam, to when he went past the other camera was really quick. And in the picture, you see him kind of running.
Right.
So I don't know. The warden has some leads. He's been interviewing a couple of different people. I gave him some information I had. A couple of people called him, and we'll see what comes of it. I think they'll get to the bottom of it. And I just think that you have to pursue those things because, you know, when everybody across Jefferson County sees that, they're all, you know, in the video that I put out there, which is, I mean, in a few days, it's already got 60,000 views.
Right.
I think it makes everybody think about, you know, being honest. Um, and the subjects he's interviewing, I mean, I told them straight out, each of them, that, you know, if you took it, give me the cards back and apologize, and tell me, you know, I got flustered that you're hunting in the area I'm hunting or whatever, and I'd let it go. I said I would. And each of them just said that they didn't take it. So we'll see where it goes from this. There is a little bit of strong evidence leaning a certain way. So the warden actually told me he's pretty convinced that there could be a ticket written out of this, you know. So we'll see where it goes. I can't say too much about it because I don't want to impede on his case, and it's really not even in my hands anymore. I just told him to do whatever he feels is right with it.
Right.
And you know, kudos to him. In the past, a lot of wardens would tell you the same things the police would tell you. You know, it's like it's two $10 cards, man. You know, you're wasting our time, kind of thing.
Right.
But really, if you don't pursue those things, they grow. And it ain't just the theft. I mean, now I'm a pretty easygoing guy, but you get a lot of guys. I mean, somebody steals the cards out of their camera, so they get an idea in their head. They think they know who it is. You know, well, like me, I got a picture, or maybe I don't have evidence that it's that guy, but I think it is. So then I see somebody that looks like him get out of a car, or I set a trail cam over there. Then you're over there slashing their tires or smashing the windows out of the car. Then that guy gets angry because maybe it's not him, or maybe it is, but he gets angry and it escalates and turns into this big war. And it's better to just have the law, just enforce the law and take care of it that way. And really, I think a person thinks he's not really doing much damage when he takes somebody's cards, because otherwise, I mean, he could have literally took the cameras.
Yeah.
Now with the Exodus, I'd have tracked him down if he turned it on, but they could have taken the cameras, and they didn't. So I think they think that they're doing something, like either they're keeping me from knowing they were there, or they're in their mind they're thinking, well, you know, I don't want him to see the bucks that are out here or something. And maybe they're justifying it in some way, but it's still wrong, and it still makes anger, and people get mad at each other. Yeah, and as hunters, we should get along. I mean, when I run into somebody in the parking lot, if they ask for tips and stuff, I usually give them to them. Now, I'm not going to tell them where my best spots are, but I'll help get on deer, you know?
Right.
We're all in this together. It's not a competition. That guy doing good makes me feel good. Right. You know, he's a hunter. He's a fellow hunter. I mean, it's like when you're at work, do you really hope that your coworkers do bad so you look good? No, you help your coworkers. You want them to do good. You want them to perform well. Right. You know, and
makes everybody's life easier.
Competition. Right. But people, a certain number of people in the hunting community think this is some sort of competition. You know, like we're all in this against each other, you know, like to be top dog, you know?
Yeah. And you mentioned like the guy just stole a $10 card. It's like, well, not really. I mean, your time's worth a lot there. He took however many hours of your time away that you spent, you know, going out there and putting those away. That's trash now. And then on top of that, all the data you were going to get from it. What if, you know, that's,
I don't even know what data
for you,
I had on the other camera for 10 days because the card's gone.
Right. Especially for you, you know, what you were going to do with that camera. It's part of how you make a living and all that. I mean,
part of the study is part of how I live it.
Yeah,
I could literally sue a person like that for doing that. I could sue him because he's damaging my business and my income. Because literally I make an income off of my YouTube videos and stuff. So I could sue him for that. Now, I probably wouldn't do it over cards like that or something, but
no,
you know, but holding people accountable for their actions is a good thing. Ain't no different than if your kid did something wrong. I mean, I remember when my kids were little, I mean, real little, we went into a store at a visitor place, you know, like a high profile place, Wisconsin Dells. And I mean, Junior, he was like 6 years old or something. And when we come out of the store, he had, we had gotten all the way back to our campsite or something, and here he had taken some shiny stones they were selling there. You know,
Yeah.
like rocks.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, they were like 10 cents a piece in a bowl, and they didn't guard them very well because they're a bowl of rocks.
Right.
But didn't make it right. He took those rocks. So I packed them in the car. I drove them back there. I made him give them back to the person and apologize. You know, that's the way we have to do things. I mean, people have to be held accountable when they do something wrong. It doesn't mean a 6-year-old kid really knows he's doing something that wrong. But that's how he learns.
Right.
You know, and maybe I'm the butthead father for making him do that, but I still think right is right and wrong is wrong. You know,
Right.
You got to hold people accountable.
Yeah. And I mean, you make a great point. Like, I think you putting it on YouTube, it does kind of help a lot of other people that, you know, from that happening to them could potentially, I guess, help them.
Yeah, and I don't really think that a guy taking those cards out is necessarily a bad person. You know,
Right.
I could find out who stole the cards, and I could get along with them. A year down the road, we could be friends. But the fact is, I think putting it out there makes people think about what they're doing. It makes them think, well, I didn't even think it was that bad when I took cards out of somebody's camera.
Right.
Because, you know, the amount of times this happens, you know damn well that there's people watching that video that have taken people's cards.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know, or their cameras, or done worse. And it makes them think about the consequences, especially when you read. You know how I asked everybody to talk about things that had happened to them? I did that for a reason, because when people read that and they see the damage they've done to people, I think it makes them think about it a little more. I mean, if you read through those comments, there's people that talk about when they're, you know, they took their 14-year-old out for their first hunt, and the kid's stand is missing. You know, you know, there's a, you know, you're not always stealing from some grown man. You know. Right.
No, right. It could be some 14-year-old kid that saved up all summer to buy a $30 Tasco or something, and you took his stuff, and it's like, yeah.
Yep. And you can be turning that kid against hunting from then on. You could just quit. He could quit public land. He could quit hunting. He could quit a lot of things. He could just turn against it. Instead of if the same kid, if you ran into him in the parking lot, and you started talking to him, you saw his excitement, and you said, "Hey, I got this Tasco camera back here. I hardly use this. Why don't you use this one?
Right.
Go ahead, take it." That would make the opposite, you know, impact on that kid. And that's the kind of stuff I try to do. Is I try to have a positive impact on those young people or people that are new to hunting, and instead of the negative one, you know. Let them see you taking garbage out with you. You know, let them see you picking it up on video, and when you're in the woods walking around people. Then they're going to think twice about before they litter, because they're going to think, well, crap, there's people that have to go out here and pick this stuff up when I do this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's awful around, well, about any public land anymore. It seems like you see those cleanup days and people just fill dumpsters up with trash that they find on the public land. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But that seems like, I don't know. There's a certain type of people that they just feel like that's a dump yard instead of a kind of a privileged area that we're lucky to have, and we should take care of it.